Use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is on pause after the discovery of a rare blood clot in some recipients. Local health officials share what you need to know if you've received the vaccine. The prospect of returning to work has some people on edge. What experts say you can do to cope.
From federal refunds taking weeks or months longer than normal to businesses being in limbo on what to do for their taxes, tax preparers say this year has been a weird one. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Jasper County judge has granted a change of venue in a Lawrence County murder trial. This is KOAM News at 6. Attorneys for Gary Hunter Jr. were pushing for the change of venue due to media coverage of the case. They say their client could not get a fair trial in the region. Today, a judge approved their request, allowing for jury selection in the Kansas City area, Jackson County, Missouri. The jury will be transported to Lawrence County for trial. Hunter Jr. is one of 10 people charged in connection with the shooting death of Sarah Pascoe in August of last year. You can read more about the investigation on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Checking in with Nick Kelly now. It was good to see the sun today, even if it wasn't exactly as warm as we would expect this time of year.
No, but at the very least, if we can get a mild day in April, Dow will definitely take it, even though we had highs officially in the lower to middle 60s. As far as where we stand right now at the top of the hour, though, the Skywatch Storm Tracker looks as though it wants to show a few scattered showers along the Kansas-Oklahoma line. While that moisture isn't reaching the ground yet, the moisture in our northern counties from Garnett, Mound City, and stretching over to Butler and Rich Hill. On the Missouri side, that is light rain reaching the ground, but that's the first glimpse of our next upper level wave sneaking in from the west. It's already making its presence known rather by bringing a lot of cloud cover back into the fold for this evening. As far as temperatures, lower to middle 60s right now. We'll take a quick look at the overnight hours ahead of us as that wave out west rolls in. Mainly dry for most of you this evening to start, but once we hit 9, 10 o'clock and going through the overnight, that's when we'll see scattered showers pick up. But this pales in comparison as to what we could face this weekend. Full forecast in a bit, though. All
right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Nick. A number of companies, big and small, are hiring across our region, but not everyone is eager to return. Some employees experience anxiety about the prospect of returning to public jobs like retail and medical offices. One woman we spoke with says she's waiting for more vaccines to be distributed and for officials to say it's okay to go back. One professional we spoke with says one way to deal with the anxiety is to keep a journal.
No one else has to see it. It's a safe place. You can vent all of your fears, all of your hopes, all of your dreams, and then you can write down what the pros and cons are of what you're facing and look at those fears. Are they a rational fear or is it an irrational fear that is most likely not going to happen?
Tonight at 10, we're going to hear more from Dodson on what you can do to help ease some anxiety about returning to work and share one woman's thoughts on why she's not going back. Brings us to today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question. We're asking, are you ready to return to your workplace? Your options are yes, no, or I'm already back at my workplace. You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check back in on them later in this newscast. Missouri lawmakers are advancing a sweeping firearms bill that would allow concealed guns on public transportation and in places of worship. The Missouri House gave initial approval to the bill in a voice vote. Currently, people need permission to bring firearms into places of religious worship. The bill would allow people with concealed gun permits to carry those guns into churches, synagogues, and mosques. Another provision in the bill would ensure that gun stores are considered essential businesses. That means state and cities could not order them closed during emergencies such as the coronavirus pandemic. Some 4-staters are experiencing delays with their tax refunds. KOAM's Zach Dodge explains why that might be and why most people just have to keep on waiting.
This year definitely has been a weird one.
From starting later than normal and extending the filing deadline to issuing stimulus checks during tax season, the IRS has been slammed.
People getting returns months later, so it's been pretty slow.
At the end of March, the IRS still had close to 2 million returns from 2019 to process. a backlog created by the pandemic. Another big challenge for this season has actually stemmed from the second stimulus check, because a lot of people who didn't get it are claiming a recovery rebate credit, slowing the process even more.
They're going to go through and put you in a manual review process, which means an actual human being is going to review your return. And it kind of slows things down a little bit, so it's just kind of, IRS is kind of stacking up.
And it's not just individuals that are feeling the effects of the weird tax season. CPA Andrew Jordan says a lot of things for businesses are in limbo as well. He explains that the IRS has said businesses that received PPP loans will be able to make deductions for expenses, but some states still haven't decided. And while the filing deadline was extended to May 15th, they still have to have tax estimates in by April 15th.
Or they're like in a state like Missouri where it has been decided, but we're still waiting to know what they're going to do. And if they don't fix it, then that might be another unexpected tax hit for small business owners.
So most people, whether a business owner or a resident, are having to wait and see.
You hurry up and wait. Absolutely. Yeah.
In Jasper County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
If you're waiting for your federal refund, you can check the IRS Where's My Refund tool on the website to see how far along your return is. Experts say if the tool says your return is still processing, it's been accepted and the IRS will be getting it to you as soon as they can. We're going to have a link to that tool on our website later tonight, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Freeman Health pediatrician shares the signs of potential child abuse. That's ahead. Also, Kansas treasurer reunites PSU with some unclaimed property, and his office wants to do the same for you. The CDC and FDA recommend a pause in use of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with health professionals to see why they say those who receive this vaccine should not be overly concerned.
Public health officials have been saying the best vaccine is the one first available to you. But anyone who is hoping to get the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine might have to opt for Moderna or Pfizer instead. This comes after the U.S. reported 6 rare blood clots from the vaccine. Although, these are the only incidents reported from the 6.8 million doses administered in the U.S. In Missouri, it doesn't look like we'll have it back anytime soon. But health officials don't seem too concerned.
So it's good news that we're going to stop and pause and let the scientists figure out what is going on with that vaccine.
Larry Bergner, Newton County Health Department Administrator, says those who have already received their Johnson & Johnson vaccine shouldn't panic.
Those who have received it's the one-shot dose, Johnson & Johnson, those who have received that vaccine should not be alarmed. However, if you start to develop severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath, and you are within 3 weeks of that vaccination, then we recommend that you seek medical attention with your primary care physician.
Although he says chances are high you won't have any side effects. Pharmacies that were administering the single-dose vaccine have since stopped. Prater's in Webb City is now allowing anyone with a previous Johnson & Johnson appointment to reschedule for a Moderna.
We did have some appointments today. We did have to reach out and cancel them and ask the patients if they wanted to wait until the Johnson & Johnson became available again, or if they would like to go ahead and get their first dose of Moderna today.
Prater says this new finding has caused vaccine hesitancy among some.
It's caused hesitancy among some for all the vaccines, even though the other ones are a different mechanism of action and don't seem to have this very small risk of these blood clots.
Bergner still recommends getting the COVID-19 vaccine, and that now options are just limited to Pfizer and Moderna. In Joplin and Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Prater adds that he does not believe pausing use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will affect Missouri's vaccine rollout, as there's still wide availability of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma health leaders have all joined other states in suspending distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It's Child Abuse Prevention Month, and for health professionals, identifying environments and behaviors that show potential risk of abuse is one of the most effective tools in preventing it. They say some signs they look for in potential abuse include parents with impulse control issues and substance abuse. They also say environmental factors like poverty could place a child at increased risk, but abuse can affect children from any background.
Abuse comes in all flavors. It's not associated with any particular socioeconomic status or a group of people. It happens across the board in everybody's neighborhood, and it's sort of up to us as mandated reporters and as community members to protect that child if they're not being protected by the people who are supposed to protect them.
Dr. Dickerson says nationally, 1 in 7 children has experienced abuse or neglect. Kansas Treasurer Lynn Rogers was in Pittsburgh today to return some unclaimed property to PSU, $1,800. Might not be a lot to a university, but to 33 million Americans who have unclaimed property, it could mean a lot more. Rogers describes unclaimed property as financial accounts or items of value in which the owner has not initiated any activity for several years. You can check whether you have unclaimed property online. We'll provide a link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Kansas currently has more than $400 million in assets to return, so head over and find out if some of that money is yours. Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast, and later the latest on the investigation into an accidental shooting that hospitalized a 4-year-old in St. Louis.
It was nice to see some sunshine return for today. However, it didn't result in the biggest of warm-ups after our morning lows in mainly the lower 50s this morning. You can see how over the past 36 hours we started, let's say upper 40s in the morning and highs in the lower 60s. We only started in the lower 50s this morning, so not much of a jump, but still a mild day with highs in most areas back in the lower to middle 60s. Even though it was nice to see the peaks of sun after some scattered showers late last night before the morning drive, we're now starting to see the cloud cover build back in, and we've already seen some areas of rain return as well. If we take a look at the past 4 hours on the radar network, you can see how there's plenty of moisture riding along our southern counties on the Kansas side. However, that moisture is not reaching the ground. If you want any rain reaching the ground, you have to venture up in our far northern counties the closer you get to Kansas City. From Garnett over to about Mound City over to Butler, that's where we have a thin band of light rain, but that's a sign of more rain chances that want to sneak in for some of you tonight. So that's the first thing I'm tracking as we go through the next several days. Thankfully, I'm keeping us quiet overall and mild for Wednesday and Thursday. We better enjoy it because once we get better rain chances working on Friday, that's setting us up for quite a chilly weekend ahead of us. Right now, though, still looking okay from our station's rooftop, looking back toward Joplin. We'll call that a partly sunny sky. 60 right now at Joplin Regional with a north breeze at 13 miles per hour. Most of us are either right around 60 or in the mid 60s at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. So where do we go from here for the evening? Well, we'll eventually fall back through the 50s, down to 51 by midnight, and we're going to eventually settle down with lows mainly in the mid to upper 40s. Most spots around 47, but again, the rain icons by 10 o'clock and midnight, those are the rain chances that'll pick up and carry us through the overnight. As we widen the view out, I'll show you what's bringing the rain chances our way. It's not the front that worked through on Sunday. That's part to the south, and that's going to drive some better thunderstorm chances for parts of the Gulf Coast. It's what's upstairs that's driving our rain chances again. Another weak wave riding along the jet stream. That's what's bringing the cloud cover back in before we see that upper low out in the west. That's going to be our better shot for rain on the way. But first, a weak upper level wave keeps us mostly cloudy, especially as we go toward late tonight. But here's 10 o'clock. We can see how the rain chances start to really billow up, mainly in our southern counties. That's where most of the rain chances overnight will be. But once we get to the morning drive, I think we're dry and I think we're good for the rest of the day. And thankfully, more partly sunny skies on the way back in to really help us out with temperatures once again, at least keep them mild. 47 in the morning, 60 by noon, and the high is 63. A light east breeze in the morning turning more northeasterly, keeping us below normal, but still keeping us mild. We stay quiet again for Thursday, but there's that low coming in from the west. That's going to bring in a better shot for periods of light to moderate rain and a lot of cloud cover Wednesday. And as long as this active setup keeps a jet to the south and keeping mostly cloudy skies around and some rain chances through the weekend, it's not looking like the best of weekends on our 7-day forecast. 63 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday. We'll be lucky if we can hit 50 for a high on Friday. We'll stay in the lower 50s through the weekend. Fortunately, it doesn't last too long, at least temporarily. We'll jump back to 62 on Monday now.
And we've had a pretty nice string of weekends lately it's about time it came to an end, I suppose.
Yeah,
All things must.
we can handle this monkey wrench in the forecast.
You bet. Thanks, Nick. Still ahead, an accidental shooting shakes a St. Louis neighborhood.
It's just really sad that all this is going on, especially to anyone, but especially children.
We're going to have the latest on the incident that sent a 4-year-old girl to the hospital. An accidental shooting has left a St. Louis 4-year-old in critical condition. The little girl was shot by her sister while they were playing at home. Robert Townsend has the story.
The terrible emergency call went out around 8:30 Saturday night. St. Louis police now say a 4-year-old girl was accidentally shot in her chest and arm by her 5-year-old sister. Investigators say it happened inside a home on North 20th Street in the Carr Square neighborhood.
I'm just shocked that it happened so close and it's just so quiet around her today.
Navra Little lives down the street with her 2 kids.
It's just really sad that all this is going on, especially to anyone, but especially children.
Police say the child was playing in a room with her 2 older sisters. We're told the girl was unresponsive when police officers rushed her to a hospital in their squad car. The 4-year-old is the 23rd child shot in St. Louis so far this year.
My heart is breaking, of course, for that little girl, her sisters, the entire family. If that gun had been unloaded and locked, this tragedy would never have happened.
Kathy Gilbert is a member of Women's Voices Raised for Social Justice and co-chairman of its Lock It for Love program.
We have gun locks available now at 4 branches of the city library. All that a person needs to do is walk in and say, I need a gun lock.
A tragedy, the gun violence that the city of St. Louis is experiencing.
The child shooting happened in the city's 5th Ward. Newly elected Alderman James Page officially takes it over next month.
I want to work with my fellow alderpersons to address a lot of the root causes of the gun violence.
And you hear about this kind of stuff all the time, and it's just, you just can pray and hope that she pulls through.
Police haven't said if any adults were at home at the time of the shooting. Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Sergeant David Sill served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. He was stationed in Da Nang with the 366 Service Squadron, his hometown, Joplin. And we are proud to salute Sergeant David Sill. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Checking back in now with our KOAM News Now Instapoll. We're asking, are you ready to return to your workplace? As you see at this point, the vast majority, 78%, say they've already returned to their workplace. You can participate in the poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on the final results tonight at 10. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up on our sister station, KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, I'm going to hear more about returning to work anxiety. Several workers nervous about going back to the work building. Also, a nationwide truck driver shortage is creating delays for your deliveries. And the story of a mailman who gave his shoes to a woman with dementia. That and more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Jordan, thanks. Nick, a final look at the weather.
We'll keep an eye on showers for tonight. Down but dry Wednesday, Thursday with highs in the lower 60s. Better rain chances for the weekend.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.